Okay, good morning everyone, and we are here with another lesson for today, which is the uh, different uh, what do you call this implementing interfaces or the interfaces. But before we move on with our lesson for today, we will be answering the last time activity, which is this one. So this is said that using the different elements in object-oriented programming, you are going to design a program that will accept a number, and then the program will determine if a given number is an odd or even number. So to do that, let us create a new class. Okay, let us assume that the name of the class is let's use add even. Add and even. Alright. So you have here the add even class, and for that, let us create a what we call the the method that will be calling the add and even. So let's use class add even and then value, and let's declare a variable value 1 is equal to 0. Now, after that, we have here your main class, and let us declare a method header. Public static void main string args. And then let us call scanner input is equal to scanner system.in. Now, as you can see, it has an error because we were not able to import the package. So with that, we have to import the package, import java.util.scanner. And then let's go back here with your code. So we are going to call add even, or create a new variable value a is equal to new add even value, and then let's just copy, and then this one will be add and even number checker in Java OOP. Let's just copy this one and this one. Let's accept a number, enter a number. So this will be the one for us to be able to determine if the value entered is an odd or even. So we will call a that value, of course this one is equal to input dot next next int. And then for us to determine if the value is an odd or even, we will be using if or conditional statement if that value percentage 2 is equal to 0. And then so we will be prompted by a message, you entered an even number. else you entered an odd number. And then we will be closing input dot close. So let us try to run this program. So let's say enter a number 45. So sabi niya that is an odd number. Run ulit natin. Let's say for instance you entered 78. And then sabi niya, so this program was able to determine if your entered program or number is an odd or even. As you can see, tumawag lang tayo, or I mean, gumawa lang tayo dito. Nag-declare tayo ng odd-even value here. This is just some sort of a variable, parang ganun. And then here, we gave a new variable name for add and even here. Ito yung ating value. And then this one. Now, another is this one. Using the different elements in object-oriented programming, you are going to design a program that compute of a loan of a customer in a bank using the formula. So, ito yung formula na kakailanganin natin. So, for us to do that, so let's create, it must be class, new class. And then, we will be using simple interest as our file name. Now, here you are going to import the utility scanner. And of course, after that, so we will be having class simple interest. And then declare a variable public int p. P here is the principal. T is the time or year it will be given rate. And then float. SI is the simple interest and R as the rate. Let's create now the method to get the data. Of course, for us to be able to do that, we have to call the scanner and giving it a name SC. Scanner. And then this is just for giving the face of our program. Interest solver using OOP. And then after that, this one we just need to call on the entering of principal amount in pesos in of course. So we have P is equal to SC dot next int. Since we use here an integer value. And then so we will be accepting naman the rate. So we will be using R is equal to SC dot Next, float. Since R here, we declare R as a float. And then, let's try to accept the time period. So we have t is equal to next 8. Since integer siya, since si time here ang ginamit natin ay integer. And then to process, we will be having public void. Let's use a method compute. To do that, we'll be using the formula I gave to you, which is t multiplied by r multiplied by t divided by 100. And then let's have, so how are we going to display the process that we've made for this method? Of course, we will be calling create a method for display. So we have public void display. And then, of course, ito yung pang ano lang, for we have display result 1 2 3 4, and we have principal amount in peso sign plus P. We have here the rate, and then plus R. And next we have time period, and then of course T. And the last one would be the simple interest in PHP or in peso sign plus SI, of course. After this, we will be calling the main header. So, string args. So, we will be giving a name for simple interest as a loan, and then new simple interest method. Let's use loan.getData, and then loan.getCompute, loan.compute, let's call it compute, and loan.display. Meaning to say, in the main method or main header, we are calling, so this one is for getting the input from the user. This one naman is used to compute or process the simple interest. And this one is used to display the output. Itong mga to ay nanggaling dito, dito, at saka dito. So, let's try to run. So, nakalagay dito, halimbawa, enter principal amount. So, we have 35,535. So, ilagay daw yung rate. Halimbawa, 0.2. Ang time period, let's say 4. So, ang simple interest niya is 284.28 using this kind of formula. Ang ginawa lang niya, it just multiply the 35535 multiplied by 0.2 multiplied by 4 divided by 100. So, ito yung kanyang kasagutan. So, I think that's it. Yung ating sagot dun sa ating activity last time. Okay? Okay, that's it for so that's the answer for the last activity in our discussion last time. Now, we will be discussing today defining interfaces. So, what do we mean by interfaces? An interface is a reference in Java. It is also similar to a class. It is also a collection of abstract methods. A class implements an interface, thereby inheriting the abstract method of the interface. Along with the abstract methods, an interface may also contain constants, default methods, static method, and nested type method. Method bodies exist only for default methods and static methods. So when you are going to write an interface, that is also similar to writing a class. But always remember that a class describes the attributes and behaviors of an object. And of course, an interface contains behavior that a class implements. So unless the class, that interface is abstract, lahat ng methods ng interface needs to be defined in a class. Now, here is a general form of or the syntax of defining an interface. We have the visibility, the interface, interface keyword, the interface name. So it must be in no space in between, and here we have extend other interfaces. Open curly brackets, and then the variable declaration, and of course, abstract declaration. Here, the interface is a keyword. As I've said, itong interface. Yung interface name is a valid Java variable just like the class name. And variables are declared as follows. We have static final type. The variable name is equal to the value. So let's have an example. Let's create a new class with the name interface demo. And then we are going to declare interface info. So in here, we are going to declare a static final string language is equal to introduction to Java programming. So as you can see, yan, ito yun, yung visibility, na sinasabi kanina, in fact, na meron tayo nung yung pinaka-interface name, yung variable na na-declare should be static, final, and then the type, and then yung ating variable name is equal to value. And then, we are going to have public void for us to call the display. Now, after that, we have here public class interface we will be using implements info. Galing siya dito. Okay? Now, let us call yung ating tinatawag na main header. Public static void main string args. Open and close curly brackets. And then, mag-create tayo or mag-instantiate tayo. Tingnan natin. Ito para dito, ito para dito. Okay. Alright, so tingnan na lang natin. We have interface D. Halimbawa ay object is equal to new interface D. Oops, sorry. Interface, yan. And then, object that display. Close natin. And we'll be having public void display. And then, ito ay lalagyan natin, tatawagan natin yung pangalan na or variable na ginawa natin kanina. And samahan natin ng ganito. Yan. So, we have tingnan natin public yan. Yan. Kasi nagsobra yung aking ito kanina. Meron isa pa dito. Okay, let's try to run. So, ang gagawin niya, pagsasamahin niya ito from dito. Yan. So, we have programming awesome. So, medyo lagyan lang natin ng space. Alright. So, yun. Introduction to programming is awesome. So, lagyan natin dito. Is awesome. Yan. Let's try to run it again. Okay. Diba, sasabihin niya naman, sobrang naman na a simple program, tas medyo parang complicated. No, it's not. We are just trying to give the demonstration of defining an interfaces. So, not only that, we also have the extending interfaces. So, an interface can extend another interface. Similarly, to the way that a class can extend to another class. The extend keyword is used to extend an interface, and the child interface inherits the method of the parent interface. So this could be achieved using this keyword as shown in your screen. Let's say a public class C extends A, implements B, open curly brackets, and then so this one is trying to override the do something, and then public in my method, open and close parentheses, do something. So let us have an example of this trying to, let's have an example. So ano ba yung example na natin? For that, we will be muna natin to hindi ko na lang siya i-run. So, we have interface, item, constant. Mag-e-error siya kasi bakit? Kasi wait lang. Hindi kasi siya, yan. Tanggalin natin to. So, let's just use interface item constant. Of course, mag-e-error siya. Kasi bakit? Kasi hindi naman yun yung pangalan ng ating tawag dito ng ating class name. We have declared student ID is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. And then, name. After that, so we have interface, item extends, item constants. And then this one naman is void display. So, of course, paano ka magkakaroon ng display, of course, kailangan mong gumawa ng display method gamit ito. Itong mga to. So, para siya ay class interface or ayan. So, kanina, kailangan natin lagyan siya ng method header, yung ating display na method. So, paano natin siya i-display. And, what else? Yan. This is just an example of extending an interfaces. Yan. Okay? Next. We have implementing an interface. So a class uses the implements keyword to implement an interface. The implements keyword appears in the class declaration following the extends portion of the declaration. Here is the syntax. We have the class name, implements, interface name, and then open close parenthesis, and then the body of the class name. Here, in a more general form, okay, it implements the interface or in the interface name. It will be look like this. We have class, the class name, extends, and then the superclass. Implements should be smaller I, interface 1, interface 2, etc. And then body or the body of the class name. So let's have an example. Let's try to create an example. We will be using XYZ as your example. And then, gamitin natin yung kagaya kanina, interface, my interface. So, we have public. Ito, bibigyan mukha na natin yung ginawa natin kanina. Method 1, public, method 2. And then, so ito, to class XYZ, gamitin na lang natin anyway class. Para lang naman siyang public kasi that's the default. Implements my interface. Public void method 1. Open natin. And then, sabi natin, implement method 1. So, close. Public void method 2. Ito, yan, medyo anuhan natin para makita nyo. Ito, para dito. Yan, yan. For method 1, ito naman for method 2. So, hindi na natin siya hindi siya i-determinate. No? Void public method 2. And then, ilalagay natin ay implement method 2. So, let's have the main header. So, we have my interface object is equal to new XYZ function. And object that method 1. Tawagin natin si method 1 kasi yun yung ating implement. Ayan. So, my interface, okay. May sobra na naman ako na curly brackets. Ayan. So, i-run natin siya. Of course, ang lalabas lang dyan is implement method 1. Kapag ang tinawag mo dito si method 2, panilitan ko lang siya. So, ang lalabas dito is the method 2. Now, ano ba yung gusto natin sabihin dito? Ito, pinapakita natin dito na we could implement the interfaces. Kasi bakit? Ang pangalan talaga ng class natin ay si XYZ. Tapos, we just created a certain method or a certain method na may nakapaloob sa kanya si method 1 at si method 2. Kumbaga, we just implement it kay interface. So, lahat ng value ni interface ay kukunin ni XYZ. Kaya po, pagdating dito, we gave a name to my interface as new XYZ. So, lahat dito, ito na lang yung babaguhin niyo. Hindi na dito sa pinaka-main body. Okay po? Rex. So, we have the accessing the interface. Interfaces can be used to declare a set of constants that can be used in different classes. So, this is also similar in creating your header in files in C++ to contain large number of constants. Since such interfaces do not contain methods, so there is no need to worry about implementing any methods. The constant value will be available to any class that implements the interface. So the values can be used in any method as part of any variable declaration or where the values were used in a final value. Now, yun yung pag-access ng interfaces. Now, always remember that all classes in Java inherent from class object. And if a class constructor is not defined, it will be called by the default constructor. Private variables are available only within own class. Number 4, in Java, there is no multiple inheritance class. And a class cannot inherit from itself. Number 6, protected variables are available in own class and derived classes. In order to the classes, they are not available. 7, when creating a derived class, okay, object constructor will be called first base class and then the derivative. Number 8, Static classes are not inherited. Is static kasi siya. Number 9, static method are not overridden. Kasi static nga din. Number 10, static methods cannot access non-static methods or non-static variables. 11, static class can have only one static method. 12, normal class can have both static and non-static method. 13, final classes cannot be inherited. 14, an abstract class may be or may have implemented methods. 15, an non-abstract class cannot have abstract method. 16, the interface should not have implemented method. And 17, a class can implement multiple interfaces. Now, you will have an activity. We have number 1, multiplication table, in which you are going to write a program that gets the input size from the user and prints the multiplication table with the specified size. The size of the multiplication here is 5, multiplication table of size 5. So, ipapakita niya yung value nung kapag hiningi or kinuha niya yung 5 na multiplication table. Number 2, you have to get the greatest common factor. Write a program that gets in 3 integers and computes for the GCF or the greatest common factor of all the 3 numbers. The GCF is the largest number that evenly divides all the greatest numbers. So I have here sample output. So when we say input 1, 25, input 2, 15, input 35, is the GCF is 5, the greatest common factor of all the 3 inputted numbers. Same as this one and same as this one. So this is just an example of a sample output of a common greatest factor. Next is you are going to create a shape class. Thus, the class has 2 string field, the name and the class size. It has a method printShapeInfo, which simply prints out the value of the name and the size field of a shape object. So it also has the method printShapeName, the printShapeSize, which prints the name and size of the object respectively. Using inheritance, create another class. So gagamit kayo ng inheritance. You have to create another class square with the same field and methods of those of shape class. It has 2 additional integer field, which is the length and width. The method printShapeLength and printShapeWidth that prints the object length and width are also included in the class. You need to override the printShapeInfo to also print out additional fields of the subclasses. And last one is you have to create animals, a program, an animal interface that has 3 methods, eat and move. All these methods do not have any arguments nor any return type. So these methods simply print out how the animal objects eat and moves. For example, si rabbit, kumakain siya ng carrot. And of course, nagja-jump siya. Yun yung move niya. Si fish and bear are that implements the animal interface. So it is up to you on how you would like to implement the method eat and move. Now, for you to have this to get this one, I will be using or I will be discussing this multiplication table. Okay, so let us use I'll be demonstrating the multiplication table. Let's just create a multiplication table. That will be my multiplication table. That will be the name of my class. And then, I will be using swing. Yan. So, anong sabi? Okay, kasi wala pa naman tayong nagagamit. Kaya sabi niya, unused import. Kasi hindi pa naman tayo naglalagay ng nung swing na components. So, we will be using public static void name. And, of course, string table. Bakit string? Kasi, yung table natin ay can accept value. Size str is equal to input the size of the multiplication table. After that, we will be declaring the size. And then size tatawagin ko si J option pin show input dialog null, and then size, ayan. So tinawag ko lang and then so sabi natin ay after that we have size is equal to, ipaparse natin. Kasi 'di ba? Sabi natin anything na inilagay ninyo kay Java is treated as string. So si size ay integer. So kailangan na siya ay gagawin nating string. Mali yung size. Yan. Kasi kanina ay nakaano siya. Alright. Sabi niya, variable J option pin. So, mamaya na yan. And then, if size less than or equal to 0, so sabi natin J option pin that show message dialog null, no output for value less than 0. Sige, kasi kulang pala yung natin. Nakita ko na. Yan. Kasi swing lang yung ginamit natin. Now, ito, hindi natin kinuha lahat ng mga ng lang component ni swing. Now, ito, kaya naman siya mali, kasi yung gamit natin ay size na malaki. So, hindi siya napapansin. Okay, next. And we have else. So, ito yung ating header, of course. Table. Siyempre, itatab natin para sa gitna. And then, we will be using for loop. Hindi ko na siya i-discuss kasi itong looping, conditional statements ay ginamit na natin during your program. So, para hindi na tayo mag-ulit-ulit ng ating declaration ng lahat ng conditional statements and looping statements, ito na ulit. Equal to 0. I is less than the size, of course. And then I plus plus. Open parenthesis. Table. I plus 1. And then of course, kaya siya mali ay malaki dapat. Okay, we have table /t ulit tayo para mag-tab siya. Close natin, table /m2. Kumbaga ay mag-create ng new line. So this one naman is for table. For int I is equal to 1. I is less than or equal to size I plus plus. And then table plus equals to I plus, lagyan natin siya ng kumbaga ay format for int j is equal to 1. J is less than or equal to I j plus plus. We have table I multiplied by j. Table and then /t. Close, and then we have table /n. We have system dot out. Print natin, sorry. Multiplication table. Sorry. Ito ay tawagin natin si table. Ito. And then after that, exit. So let's try. So, nakalagay dito, size ng table, lagyan natin ay 5. So, ayan na. Pinakita niya yung multiplication table natin. 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 9, 4, 8, 12, 16, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So, ito, ipinakita lang dito that itong version na to ay kumbaga we just use a method, a class na tinatawag natin si table. Now, bakit pa ito ay ipinakita ko at gagawin nyo? Ganito ang gagawin. Kung mapapansin, ang ginamit ko ay option pane. Ang gagamitin nyo naman kasunod is you will be using scanner instead of swing. Yan, para na na-practice. Now, next, ito naman si greatest common factor. Si greatest common factor, kukunin nyo din siya. Okay. Ito naman ay paano ba? So, you will be using three inputs. So, dito magkakaroon kayo ng declaration sa minimum and minimum. Iko-compare nyo yung tatlo. So, yun lang yung mabibigay ko muna sa inyo na inyo pong clue. So, sasagutin nyo siya, gawin nyo muna, and then I will be giving the links dun sa ating Schoology portal. Okay po? So, that's the end of our discussion for today.